You know it, I know it, frozen fucking bacteria on the Martian plateau are blogging about it, for fuck's sake. The DC Marvel movieverse is imploding like a Titanic tourist sub. The Marvels made less money than bottled liquid cock cancer, and Ant-Man 3 showings were so empty, hacky hipsters were shooting shitty survivalist videos in the fucking theater. By the time I rolled in, the previews were already rolling, and the hipster-bearded brawny man up front was building a log cabin in the front fucking row. Who the hell are you selling these sequels to? The Usher? And it's in such dire, frantic fucking circumstance, with the lifeboats lowering and the string quartet 12 bars deep into Nearer My God to Thee, that DC and Marvel have deigned to unveil their 2025 film slate, which surprised the hell out of me. Who knew they had film screens in bankruptcy court? February kicks off with camera negative Captain America, who I reckon will be on the screen for 15 uninterrupted minutes before they cram Chris Evans into the film to sell even a single ticket. And I, for one, can't wait to be called 7 separate sorts of slave-holding, whip-cracking, mint julep-sipping racist for refusing to fucking watch it. Which, of course, I am, but what does that have to do with the shitty fucking movie? Followed immediately after by 4, which I can only assume is an accurate head count of the fucking audience. So what are we stripping a word out of the title with every successive reboot abortion? First it was Fantastic Four, then the utterly absurd Fan-4-stick, and now the literal number 4. If Disney lasts long enough for a 5th failed reboot, we'll be down to a minus sign and a Marvel logo. But enough about their stock price. Marvel can't build all the bombs, though, and if any comic properties produce more Moabs than Superman, I certainly haven't found it. It's a bird, it's a plane, and a second plane crashing into Tower 2, and its name is Superman Legacy. Hey, there's a fine financial stratagem, a pseudo-sequel in a series that hasn't had a mainline entry in, a ding-dong-diddly decade, the final filmic appearance for whom was 2017's Justice League, to that point, the biggest box office belly flop in DC cinematic history. What's the matter? Couldn't score the remake rights for Halle Berry Catwoman 2? But at least a fair few people are familiar with fucking Superman, even if it's mostly from the obituary column. Most moviegoers couldn't pick the Thunderbolt out of a police lineup, and yet that's exactly what we're getting on July 25th, 2025. Let's see. A comic property that was never all that big at its biggest, a superhero genre with the unbridled commercial momentum of Quiznos, and a cast so star-studded the biggest box office attraction is a septuagenarian Elaine from fucking Seinfeld. Hey, why's that Disney executive digging a fucking fallout shelter exactly? Never mind movie theaters, drop this film on Hamas. You'll wipe them out in a weekend. Ironically, the movie most likely to make money is the one I'd argue really doesn't need a sequel. The Batman 2, insert inevitable cringy biblical subtitle here. Look, I get it. Plenty of people enjoyed the original. Hell, even I did. What little I could see of it anyway. Hey, here's an idea. If we ever get a threequel to the Batman, how's about we don't light the set with cell phone screens and cigarette lighters? If that movie were any blacker, Ann Coulter would be dating it. But I enjoyed the Batman for what it was, a one-off cinematic palate cleanser after a bevy of bad Batman movie appearances. Don't get me wrong, Batfleck was fine. It's the films that failed the actor. And in that sense, the Batman's simple mystery story was a breath of fresh air after seemingly endless ass. But that's all it needed to be. A simple cinematic stopgap while the character and the comic film genre recharged its creative batteries and brought the heat with an all-new Batman movie several years on down the trail. But of course, that, my friends, would require Warner Brothers knowing when to say fucking when. And sadly, on the gun range of life, the WB have the trigger discipline of Alec Baldwin. And so they'll milk the Count Twinkula version of Batman until the money tit produces only powder and pleas for death. But don't forget Blade, the reboot nobody asked for, sans the star everyone actually wants, in a series that hasn't seen an entry in 19 titty fucking years. Hey, how wild is it that of all the actors to portray a spandex-clad cape fag, from The Rock to Jason Momoa's wall-eyed ass, amongst all the overhyped hipsters and steroidal super simps, Wesley Snipes, Blade, wound up being the most badass of them all for merely refusing to be blackmailed by the corrupt commies in the California Department of Revenue and going to fucking prison for it. Chefs, fucking kiss. Look, if the Blade reboot succeeds, it'll be for the same reason as the Wesley Snipes original. It's bloody, it's badass, and it ain't got the first fucking thing to do with the dead as a doornail superhero genre. And as one or all of the above inevitably implodes at the box office, I don't want to hear a flingin' flangin' of one of yous excusing it all away as only being about bad movies and omnipresent wokeness fatigue. Bitch, I must have missed the memo where as a genre's collapsing into agonizing death throes, we're not allowed to say it's dead unless it's still offering up decent fucking films. From 70s crime capers to 80s fantasy flicks, every genre, upon reaching its logical final extremity, invariably produces a product that deeply and abidingly blows. That ain't a glitch, folks. That's a fucking feature. And it proves the rule rather than undermines it, unlike your imbecilic attempts at apologia. If I have to hear one more unoriginal goof in a goddamn gamer chair unironically utter the phrase, "It ain't comic fatigue, it's bad movie fatigue," 0.5 fucking more times, I am pulling the human race right the fuck over and parking us back in the primordial molasses. Yeah, no shit there's bad films when a genre dies. What do you put both your contacts in the same eye? Hey, I bet when a construction business is about to go under, they build some decidedly shitty houses too. You want to phone up David Attenborough to whisper narrate that mysterious fucking phenomenon? Congrats, Stevie Blunder. After agonizing months of vanishing box office receipts and more empty chairs than Michelle Obama performing puppetry of the penis, you finally caught on to the fact that dying genres, as a rule, generate indescribably shitty examples of themselves as they implode, not at all unlike your family fucking tree. And here I thought you had to have an opposable thumb before you could jam it up your own ass. The genre is in fact tired. Time for you to admit it, followed immediately by shutting the fuck up. So as the rest of us shrug and shuffle out into our daily lives in blissful ignorance of a genre well into its Kiss retirement tour phase, spare us the sanctimony, save the apologetics. Cape shit had its 15 fucking minutes. Hell, it had about 15 fucking hundred. I haven't seen a genre this oversaturated and overexploited since the whole embittered, angry video game reviewers on YouTube phenomenon. Anyway, I'm RazörForce, God fucking speed.
Death I love